everybody, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley Lanese, and I blend motivation with spirituality so that you can get the best benefit out of it. Today's video is going to be a video where we talk about why thinking life is a simulation will make you more successful. I want to start out with saying I don't even know if I fully believe in life being a simulation. The point of this video is to talk about how, on a spiritual and on a motivational level, believing or just flirting, we're just going to flirt with the idea of life being a simulation. Why opening our brains up to the spiritual realm, to the spiritual possibility, will make you go for your goals, bringing in that motivation and see your vision. Let's get started. So if you don't know anything about life being a simulation, basically the idea is that we are pretty much in this matrix version of reality, and there's like higher beings and higher sources that are kind of like in control. If you've played the game The Sims, which I played like all my life, I freaking love The Sims. I don't play it anymore because when I play it, I get way too sucked into it. I actually watch people play it on the internet, so that's kind of something I do sometimes. I watch people build, honestly. Building was my favorite part. However, me and my sisters played The Sims, and let me just start off with saying I hated the idea that life was a simulation when I first heard the idea, and I think it was because I played The Sims so much, and I think also I didn't like this idea because I didn't really like the idea of life being determined. I wanted to be able to create this reality for myself, but I would implore you to think that even if life is predetermined, honestly, sometimes that's kind of comforting for me to think about, but it can either be predetermined or there can be wiggle room, which I definitely do think there's wiggle room, because I see a lot of people who seem like they have a purpose in life and then they don't go towards it and then their life is miserable, and it's like, huh, gee williker, I wonder why your life is miserable. Well, it's because you didn't go for your purpose. So back to the simulation theory. When you start to think life is a simulation, that there are endless opportunities, endless possibilities when you play The Sims, and let me just back up and say that when I say life is a simulation, I don't mean this is literally The Sims, because your Sims can play The Sims. When you play the video game The Sims, they can get, like, sometimes you'll be having them do something and then you go back to that sim and they'll be on the computer playing The Sims, and you can zoom into it and they're playing an old version of The Sims. They're not playing the new one. So like, if life is a simulation, and it would be pretty crazy if life was a simulation and The Sims is like a reflection of it, we're not that same simulation. It's not literally an echo. Like, this is a way more advanced simulation. And if you look into quantum physics, the reason why I kind of flirt with this idea now is because when you look into quantum physics, they literally have theories that have the mathematical data to show us why life could be a simulation. There's something called the observer effect. Bro, your mind will be blown. Look into this, I'm telling you. I will link the PBS Spacetime playlist down below, because after I watched this stuff, I was like, wait a minute. Because when science starts to have actual things that could possibly back stuff, I come from, like, of course, a spirituality background, but I love when things are actually credible. So basically, the observer effect, when we look at a molecule, when we observe a molecule, as opposed to when a human is not observing that molecule, the molecule behaves differently, as if it knows we're watching it. And if you're like, wait a minute, huh? Is that right? Look it up. I'm telling you what, like, that, it is wild. Anyway, back to the whole scenario. If this is a simulation, you have endless possibility. You can tap into different realities, different timelines, different energies. If you've played The Sims, you know that your characters build skills. You can become a piano player. You can do anything on The Sims. Well, granted, depending on if you have mods installed. Of course, you can't play pool on The Sims in the new version, which I'm pretty sad about, but I'm sure there's a mod out there for that. Anyway, though, they build skills. And one time I was listening to this podcast on skills and how you build them, and how you're building a skill, but then there's a threshold that you get over, and then that skill just becomes this more infinite thing. And it's almost like you've leveled up. And it made me think of The Sims, because when your character is building a skill, it's got this like green bar. And then once they get past the skill, it's like the green bar glows and then it levels up. So that's pretty crazy. I just see so many echoes in my life of the fact that life is a simulation. And I just feel like when you think life is a simulation, you realize like life is a dream. Like they say in the book, The Four Agreements, like you are a vessel of creative energy. And I know I'm getting really into this, but I just like to flirt with the idea of life being a simulation, because if it's a simulation, then you literally are holding a paintbrush. You can make each day whatever you want. You can do what you want with your life. You can gain control of your life by going for things, going for possibilities. When you do things, you get stuff done. Like there was this one time in college where I decided to take life by the reins and start doing things I really wanted to do. And it was towards the end of the semester, I got this gumption, this fire inside of me where I was like, man, there's endless possibilities out here. And if I just go for them, then I can change my life. And I did. And people were like, why are you acting different? You have so much enthusiasm. You're like animated. You did not act like this. This is the end of the semester. And I was just grandiose, standing tall, feeling the energy. Like what you want to create in this reality is at the tip of your fingers. You can make it happen. It's just, do you have the due diligence? Do you have the determination? And if you don't, you can take it from me, because I want you to use me as a vessel for your motivation. I want to give you motivation. I desperately want you to take it from my soul. Call on it random times. You don't even need to be watching a video of me. I want to be a source of replenishing power for you. And I think when you think about life as a simulation, it's fun. It makes it fun. It makes it like free. It makes it like carefree. It makes you kind of just not really care all that much if you fail. It makes you learn. It's just like so easygoing when you think about it being a simulation, because people take life so seriously. They're so scared. Oh, I don't know if I can start a YouTube channel. I don't know if I can post videos. I don't know if I can put myself out there. People are gonna judge me, yada yada yada. Oh well, do what you want to do. Go for what you want. See it as a simulation. And if you play The Sims, the thing is, in this version of the game, and I'm sure if this is a simulation, it's a different kind of simulation, but that's what I have to reference from. So when you play The Sims, you can only stay on one household, right? And I'm somebody who's a rotate game player. When I play The Sims, I have like 50 households that I keep bouncing back and forth from, right? And when I bounce back and forth from the households, I try to find a game to play. Like there's always a main house that I love the most. And the reason why is because my Sims are cooperating with me. And I, in this scenario, am kind of like the universe, or I'm kind of like God, which might be kind of hard and esoteric for people to wrap their brains around. But I'm trying to find the household that the Sims is listening and vibing with me. And I actually wrote a paper on this, on how I had this whole epiphany that life was a simulation, or could be, because I don't want you guys to think that I'm like full-blown life's a simulation. I just love to think about it that way, because what's funny is on The Sims, you can like build online, and the way that you do it is you literally get your Sims to sit in front of a camera and record. Now in the latest version, you couldn't do this before, but you could also build on like Twitter. They had like a Sims version of Twitter, and it's just like, it's all about growing, 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 going, trying, like persisting. And you get what you want when you persist, and you learn just automatically by default if you persist, if you want it bad enough. And in The Sims, you can have a life dream. And you know how many Sims don't get their life dreams? So many. And when you have a connection with the universe, I think believing in the simulation theory allows you to have a connection with the universe. When you have a connection with the universe, because in this whole, I was the game player, when my Sims trusted in me and connected and didn't go off and do things that they wanted to do. And you can change the free will on The Sims and everything. But that's when I focused on that Sim and actually got their goals accomplished. So wrapping this video up, because this is just a video to flirt with the idea and just kind of me pouring my heart out. But when you believe or flirt with the idea that life is a simulation, I think you don't take it so seriously and you actually go for what you want. And what's really crazy, also, last point on this whole simulation thing, is a lot of people tell me sometimes they feel like life goes faster and life goes slower. like different, like they feel like it does, but of course time isn't doing that. It doesn't, like you can't look at a watch and be like, oh wow, time is actually going faster. And if you study quantum physics, they've said this as well in relation to the simulation theory. If time were going faster, we wouldn't know it. If it were like zoomed out in this whole simulation idea, we wouldn't know it. So when you get into a flow state, when you're doing something and time goes faster, it's because like you can, in The Sims, speed it up. And in a simulation, you would be able to. And like, let me just blow your mind even more. There was this one thing I was watching on quantum physics that said, when you pull us all the way out of the universe, it looks like we're on a screen. Now, you're gonna be like, are you being for real right now? I freaking swear. I heard this in a video that was scientific, and it was literally a quantum physicist saying this, and I was like, life's a simulation. Now, I still don't know what's going on here, what's happening in the universe, but I want you to know that you are the creator of your own reality. You can take this life and make what you want from it. So thank you so much for listening to this all the way until the end. If you found this video helpful, fascinating, entertaining, give it a like so more people can too. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.